Hello, Team Impact. We are moving on today, and actually, I'll start with the answers to yesterday's one-step equations. I'm going to leave that up for a second. Just understand when we're solving equations, we want to keep it balanced. So when I draw my balance beam, what I do to one side, I'm going to do to the other. I always isolate my variable. Now, again, you're just saying, why do I need to do that? I know what number plus 12. I know that 2 plus 12 is 14, but the idea is it's going to get harder. So we want to have a good foundation there. So um, anyway, I'll give you another 5 or 10 seconds there to check your work from yesterday if you were absent. Okay. And we are going to move on. Okay. All right. Next up, one step equations application. So I'm not going to do this exactly how it's all set up, but I guess we ought to get into this thing. Practice setting up an equation for each of the situations and do not solve. Oh, that makes it nice. So it's not about the answer, it's about the process, right? Okay. So the average cost of a school lunch today is $4.35, which is $2.85 more than the average cost of a lunch in 1990. Huh. What is the average cost of a lunch in 1990? Well, the whole thing I know is $4.35, right? I know that, right? And I know that in 1990, all right, it was $2.85 more. So I'm looking for X. Looking for X. See, okay, so I'm looking for the cost of it in 1990. So, all right, what's the cost in 1990? Right? So if we write in our equation, it's going to be X plus $2.85 equals $4.35. Okay? And that will give me the cost for 1990. And what I would do is subtract both sides by 285 after I drew my balance beam. So setting up a hole, splitting it into two pieces, finding out what we're looking for. Your sister, your little sister, is too small to stand on the scale. You decide to get on the scale with Holder and find your combined weight to be 112 pounds. So 112 pounds, right? You know that you weigh 94. How much does your little sister weigh? Well, together you weigh 112 pounds, all right? And I know that I weigh, or you weigh, I guess, 94 pounds, right? What is X, your little sister? So what number plus this is that? What does X represent? Your sister, right? And if we write an equation, it would be X plus 94 equals 112. And that's what we're looking for. And again, I would balance beam, subtract 94 from both sides, and that's what we would get for a value of X. So we would. All right. So let's move on to number 3. The charge for a microwave repair is $81.21, including tax. If the tax is $670, then how much will the repair be? Well, I know that the tax, right, is $6.70. I also know that the repair is $81.21. That's what I know, right? I need to know, right, the cost of the total repair. Then how much is the repair? All right. I need to know the cost total. Right? So let's get started. If my tax is $6.70, what does the repair cost, which I will call X, and the total is $81.21. So to figure out what the repair costs, I'm going to balance beam and I'm going to subtract $6.70 from both sides. What's left over here is X. We have isolated the variable, so we have, right? Mm-hmm. And now I'm just going to subtract. 1, I'm going to borrow. 12 is 5, decimal down. Borrow. 10. 10 minus 6 is 4. And that's $74.51. So the repair was that. The cost was that. The total cost of the repair, the charge, was $81.21. So I just kind of combined these two. Not a big deal. Okay. All right, let's move on. Okay, according to CBS, the average cost of the Super Bowl ticket in 2010 was $3,509. This is $441 less than the cost of the 2015. How much was it in 2015? Okay. What I know? I know that in 2010, can you see that? Let me pull that down. I know that in 2010, the cost was $3,509, right? I know that in 2015, all right, this was for than the cost. So it was, so in 2010, it was $441 more than 2010. Okay. So that's what I know. What I need to know is the cost of the ticket in 2015. Cost in 2015. That's what I would need to know. So I'm going to combine these again, my plan and my solution, right? Okay. So what do we know? Well, I'm looking for the cost in 2015. All right. So I'm going to call that X. Now, all right, I know that 2015 was $441 more than 2010. So if I subtract $441 from the value of 2015, I will get 2010's value. And there's my plan. So this is actually 2015, right? I subtracted it, the value, because it's that much more, and there's a value of 2010. So I'm going to add 441 to both sides. 10, carry the 1, 5, 9, and 3. So X is going to equal $3,950. So let's go back and talk about this for a second. This is the cost in 2015. Okay. It is $441 more than 2010. And to solve that, all right, I figured out, well, I'm looking for the cost of 2015, which I knew was more, but I have to do the opposite operation. All right, and there's my cost in 2010. I balance beamed it out, and I go ahead and label your answer. All right, let's continue on. A fence surrounds two sides of a backyard. The total length of the fence is 86 feet, with the longest portion being 51.5. What is the length of the side of the fence? Okay, well, let's talk about this. So the total length, the total I know, is 86 feet. All right. All right. The next thing I know is one side is 51 and 5/10 feet. That's what we know. What is the length of the second side? Okay. We have two sides to the fence of our backyard. One side is this, the total is this. I'm looking for the second side. So it's going to be X plus $51, 51 and 5/10 feet equals a total of 86 feet. See, this plus this has to equal that, right? So to figure out X in this case, I'm going to go ahead and subtract 51 and 5/10 from both sides. X is going to come down. So now I'm going to have to borrow, right? That's 10. 5, decimal down, 4, and 3. So the other side is 34 and 5/10 feet. So this plus that should equal our total length. Okay. So I guess I should have wrote here second side. All right. Last question. A skyscraper in Dubai is 2,722 feet high. The news station antenna in North Dakota measures this, shorter than the skyscraper in Dubai. How tall is it? So Dubai, I know, is 2,722 feet. All right. North Dakota is, all right, 659 feet shorter than that, right? Than that. So let's get started. We're looking for how tall it is, the news station antenna is. So I'm going to call that X, right? X. And I know if it's that many feet shorter than that, I have to add it. I have to do the opposite operation. And we're going to get to that. And then finally, 2,722 feet. So this, the height of our news station in North Dakota, plus 659 will equal that. To solve for X, we're going to do the inverse operation. And we're going to subtract 659 from both sides. Okay? And let's go ahead and borrow down. And that's 3. Borrow 1 from the 7, make it a 6. That's 11. That's 6. 6 minus 6 is 0. There. So my solution is 2,063 feet. And that's the height of our antenna in North Dakota, because this plus this will equal that. Okay? All right, so setting up these can be difficult. All right, and you're going to have to read them more than once. Your homework is here, homework 2. Some easy equations, set them up and go from there. Okay, guys, have a good day.